kaka and that type of thing. Just as we're going here, I noticed this is the tree where I remember we used to grow up eating the nuts of this in New Guinea. I still remember when I learnt that. I remember when my hunting skills improved a little bit and I could speak the language, and that brought back some pretty fond memories of being accepted into a culture that was initially so foreign, but then became family and friends, and the point in time I didn't know any other way.
Say hello, Australia.
So this is the beach almond. I'll grab a pocket full of these and we'll go crack a few open down the beach later on for a snack. And let's try and get a fire going. So in the book, Pierre speaks about using sticks rubbed together to get a fire going, to pile kabuska onto the fire. That's the idea. We'll see how we go. Really raspy. I've got a second plate underneath which will catch the shavings and hopefully catch the ember once it does eventually light. There we go, get some smoke. We're close. Come on. Here we go. Here is the prize catch of today. Anyone who's been watching our channel would know that we don't commonly eat stingray, but back for the indigenous people back in the day, they were a main staple food source. So firstly, I'm just going to take his guts out and then we'll cook him up. Alright, here's the day's catch. That stingray all ready to go. Plus we've got these 2 mud mussels and 2 yams. A little bit underwhelming on the yam front, but I'm happy to have some carbohydrates in the diet anyway. I'll get these coals ready and then get him straight on there. I'll show you just how the Aboriginal people used to cook them. Just get him straight on there like that. There he goes. We'll get these big coals on there at the same time. Oh, now we're cooking. As those mud mussels start to heat up, they just crack open like that. Then that beautiful smoky flavour can get inside them. Yum, yum. So after being first saved and then cared for by the Aboriginal people, he then was given his own local name. He eventually learned the local language, the local culture, he even went through the full male initiation process, and he's got the tattoos and scars. Bit of shell grip, unfortunately, in that one, which is why it's crunchy. But pretty good. Just tastes like a big oyster. Only crunchier. Alright, this guy's starting to smell like he's cooked anyway. Surely that counts for something. Seems to be a bit of a delicate operation here. Oh yeah, that's peeling away nicely. So all this stringy stuff here is the meat and the flaps of the stingray. Heaps of meat up here. Look at that. Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. I'm trying to think of something to compare it to. Yum, yum. Got like a rich taste, like a rich seafoody scallop type of setup. Tomorrow, guys, I am keen when we wake up to make a real spear, and that was one of the reasons I was keen to get a stingray today. I want to utilise that barb as the point of a spear. I reckon that'll give us a better chance to get some fish. Get to the other side. Alrighty. Now, I must admit, when you just cook straight on the coals like that, you think that you're going to get nothing in your mouth except sand and charcoal, but nature's got a way of giving itself a pretty good protective layer that peels off, just like this, and then you get all of that nice meat there, pretty well sand-free, actually. Yum, yum. So one of the things Pierre first noticed on his first few nights with the Aboriginal people is they seem to live nowhere or everywhere. They just pretty well lived out in nature, and what they prioritised is, rather than spending all your energy setting up a shelter, they would be rather nomadic and move around across their country every day, depending on the tides and what food source was where and what water source. And it did mean they never overexploited one area. They're constantly on the move. It worked for them for tens of thousands of years. So I reckon something quite simple, but up here, out of the wind a little bit, away from potential crocodile threats. Keep that fire burning throughout the night. And then just set up like a bit of bedding here with leaves. I think it'd probably be your best bet for the night. We'll get into it bright and early in the morning. All right, I'm heading into the mangroves now, looking for some more food. I enjoyed reading the book and hearing about what their prized foods were back in the Aboriginal times. Number one on the top of that list was the dugong, actually. Close second was the turtle. Those two are both off limits these days. Mud crab, I believe, was not too far behind, and that's one we can get. Walking around, looking at the base of these. These are pig tracks and pig diggings. You can see them come back through here. Oh man, there's few better things than pork. So pork or bacon or whatever you want to call them, pigs. Some pretty serious pig diggings all through here. This is all pigs. They're one of the most damaging pests, actually, the pigs in this part of the world. They eat all the young mangrove roots as well as a heap of other native plants. And shell middens obviously cracked open. So this is a spider conch shell. And it's kind of eerie walking around here that the people that would have been eating these are the Aboriginal people I'm reading about that have, since sort of been moved on from the area, unfortunately. But it's pretty amazing that their remnants are sort of everywhere. And one of the special things about this part of the world is that the nature side of things is largely unchanged since these early explorer days. A couple of hundred years ago, the landscape really is the exact same. There's no high-rise buildings, no land developments here. Well, this is the kind of ground those mud crabs love. This muddy bottom, but it holds itself together that they can actually dig really good holes in it. Anywhere up under here. One home. I was too slow and he just bloody ducked back into his hole. That's beautiful blue by the water. Really starting to tire now, like every step you're either sinking into mud or tripping over rocks, so I really need to find something soon and then try to get out of this heat of it. Yeah, this one looks pretty cool. There's a nice big hole there. And then all this kind of coral rubble is white. I think something here turning it over recently. I reckon there's a good chance there's a big crab in this one. Let's have a bit of a poke down there and see what we can find. Nothing home. He must be out somewhere. Oh. Oh. Yes. Oh. Oh, yes. Yes. We are eating tonight. We are eating very well. Big blue mud crab. What a beauty. Man, he always got me off shaking from that. Yes. Oh. Oh. Oh, yes. But he was ready to rumble with his claws out like that. What an absolute beauty. Just while I'm waiting for that fire to burn down to a nice coal base, I want to work on a spear. You can see this is sort of as crooked as a politician at the moment. It's not going to be too handy for a spear. But what we're going to do, we're going to try and bend it into place. Make it nice and straight. Take that outside bark off. Quite satisfying, this. Also, guys, I just wanted to say that I'm by no means an expert at this type of survival stuff. Trying a lot of the things for the first time, and hopefully we can learn together. Some things will work, some things might not work. I just wanted to get that out there. This isn't a do it this way type of survival video. This is me just learning on the go. I want to keep a bit of a fire going on that side so I can continue working on my spear. This big mud crab is going to go straight on. Have a go at the claws on him. So anyone that's been following this survival challenge series, you'll know how lucky we've got with the mud crabs. Each of these scenarios so far, they've managed to get themselves in a bit of strife where there's big giant mud crabs, which has really worked in our favour. All right, let's get him on there. Now, as you put heat into this wood, it'll allow you to bend and shape it. Hopefully we can get some of the bends out of it. So that's a bit straight, so this bit here needs to come down. And that crab is done now as well, so I'm going to get him off and let him cool down. Now look at that. Oh man, I can't wait to rip into this big boy. Now it's getting straighter, definitely getting straighter. No! Just going to say it's starting to look a little straighter. I've just bloody got a bit impatient, too much force. Back to square one. But this was that really bent bit at the start, so the technique works. Just needed to go slow and steady. I got a bit impatient. Oh, well, time to get into this big mud crab. That is why they're one of the most prized catches, because of this big nipper there. So much meat. Now, to continue the story, our mate Pierre, the 14-year-old French cabin boy, He then basically evolves, almost like a caterpillar evolves into a butterfly, into Anglo, the white hunter that's feared basically all across the land amongst the other clans. He goes on to marry a couple of times. He goes on to have kids. He has an affair, has another kid with someone he shouldn't have. And for that affair, he paid with what seemed to be a fair price, a spear in the upper thigh. The judiciary system must have been a little bit different back then, but that's what the going consequence was. Oh yeah, yum yum. It takes my mind off the spear failure just momentarily. Now, I think the truly tragic part of this story is 17 years after he was first saved by the Aboriginal people, he was then saved again, basically kidnapped at gunpoint and taken against his will, against the will of his adopted family, back to France. And he was sort of given his unwanted 10 minutes of fame. The newspapers had him as the king of the cannibals, and they showed off his tattoos across his chest. His vertical stripes on here were the amount of enemies he killed in his battle. They found that very interesting. Scars across his chest were how many wives he'd had. But from all reports, he went on to live a fairly depressed, unsatisfied life back in civilization. He did marry again. He had further kids. Having spent a bit of time in both worlds, he was far happier out here on the beaches, living back to basic. And that stingray barb spear is going to have to wait for another time. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Cheers. See you on the next one.
Hello, how would you like to be financially free from just one deal? And what am I doing stood in the middle of a load of balloons? This one property rents out for £96,000 a year. One property. How many buy-to-lets would you need to do that? So why do most people not do commercial property? Well, it's because they think it's difficult. They think it's hard. Well, let's just look at a few of those things. If you're a buy-to-let landlord, you're responsible for all the repairs and the maintenance. I guess you all know that. An FRI, a full repairing and insuring lease, is something that governs commercial property. You as a commercial landlord are not actually responsible for anything. Something wrong with the roof, they pay. Something wrong with the floor, they pay. My name's Paul Smith. I'm the UK's leading commercial property trainer. I've been investing in property for 37 years. I've been investing in commercial property for 32 years because it took me 5 years to work out how much simpler commercial property was than residential. Why don't most people do commercial property? I don't know is the honest answer. I think it's all in here. They think it's somehow harder, more difficult, more complex. It really isn't. Some simple secrets, but once you learn them, you're way ahead of the game because virtually nobody else knows them. And if you want to learn those simple secrets for free, click the link below, sign up to this 4-video series that I put together for you, precisely to bust all those myths that are probably in your head, because you are one deal away from financial freedom. Don't let watching 4 videos stop you from becoming financially free. I know you can do it. How? Because I've helped thousands of other people to do it. You are one click away from some serious money. But you've got to be quick, because I'm not sure how long we're going to be leaving all of those videos there, because I've only got so many places on the course, and once they're gone, they're gone. So then the videos will be coming down. Don't miss out. Opportunity is something you've got to grab or it passes you by. Anyway, you've been wonderful. I've been Paul. See you in the videos.
Welcome to the worst moment of my life. Shit. So I've got the boat and off and sailing. To be honest, this is a place I hoped I'd never have to recreate that moment for a survival challenge episode. Turning salt water into fresh water. We've got some action happening. Oh, move. Oh, he just jumped. Here we go. Dinosaur crab in here somewhere. 4 days left to live. Let's make the most of it. A few years ago now, Fran and I were travelling up the coast here and we stopped at this island, anchored the boat just off the drop-off there. We came ashore and went hand spearing for some nice fish in the shallows. And then Fran yelled out, "Jack, the boat's gone." So as I came running around here, I just saw the boat drifting off into the deep Never Never with no chance of its anchor rehooking until it basically hit the horizon. Shit, Tide's got the boat. Went off and sailing. I made the decision that day to jump in and go after it. And honestly, the next few hours were the longest and most difficult few hours of my life. Very fortunate we got the boat that day and basically lived happily ever after. But it's been a common question in my head. What would have happened if we didn't get the boat that day? So I'm going to recreate that exact situation with the exact same things we had on shore, and we've just lost the boat. I have recreated this survival challenge, but on a different episode, and you guys really seem to enjoy that, but you made a few fair enough comments. You said, the island here you've chosen has got coconuts everywhere, unlike the island where the incident happened. So anyway, it's taken us 3 years to get back here because this bear down and took off. This is where we're going to start the survival challenge. There's one main difference this year. Fran is not with me. She's opted not to be involved in this one. Fair enough. I absolutely don't blame her. But anyway, guys, I'll show you what I've got. It's the exact same as what we had that day. We've got a hand spear. I've got a knife. I've got no water. By this time, we'd exhausted all our water. And I've just got a bit of camera gear to share it with you. That's all we're working with, guys. Let's get straight to it. Now, at first impressions, this really seems like one of the last places on earth you'd hope to be stranded. Pretty rugged coastline, really sharp, broken coral. The sandflies just about eat you alive. They were horrible 3 years ago. They haven't gone anywhere. They're just as bad this time. But our chance of long-term survival really comes down to, as always, a couple of things. We need to find hydration and we need to find a food source. So with those two things at the top of the priority list, let's go. All these little bait fish here. Hopefully something bigger is in chasing them. Sort of bow waves and ripples everywhere here, which is a good sign. They're rabbit fish, I think. It's a nice GT. Perfect eating size GT. There's some fish in the shallows here. I think they are a permit. They are. I'm going to have a crack at these guys. This is a fly fisherman's dream right here.
Your story, it's 20th century toy. 20th century toy. I wanna be your toy.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Connie. I don't know what to say. It's wrong!
Whatever they're dreaming of, there's more. Woohoo! To Argos.
I think I just got a bit too excited, went in a bit too quick, made a bit of noise and the whole school spooked. So they were a permit or a snub-nosed dart. You could see their fins and half their body out of the water. And if we could spear something like that, that would just, oh man, what a start that would be. This might actually be a really good spot here in this bay. I'm going to try and wade out a bit more quietly this time and see if I can spear anything. It's a shark in here doing the same things I am, just hunting for fish. There he goes. Whew, man, I'm on edge in here. Really, really on edge. No, that's a crocodile. Holy moly. It's a crocodile just on that bank there. So I'm not going to go any further that way. I'll just backtrack and see if I can get a bird's eye view of him with the drone. Oh man, that throws a spanner in the works big time. A lot of my best opportunities to get fish is in these shallows, but there's crocodiles here as well. Oh, these permit are back right in this bay here. You can see them, their tails coming out of the water as they're feeding. This is a bucket list fish for fly fishermen and sports fishermen, but I'm going to have to just try to sneak up. I would love one of these guys for food. Be a bit more quiet than last time. Let's have a crack. Oh, fuck. How did I miss that? Did you guys see the size of that GT? That would have fed me for days. He come flying in chasing this fish. Oh, how did I miss that? He was just so quick. I might get another crack at him here. I'm pumping from adrenaline. When that GT come in, I wasn't sure what it was. Bummer I missed it, but this whole bay here is getting hunted by a number of different things at the moment. The crocodile, the shark, and that GT. So all the fish are really on edge. It's a good sign there's a lot of food here, but I'm gonna keep walking and let this bay settle down a little bit. It's like walking on what I imagine Mars is like, or something from a different planet. All this sharp rock. What a horrible place. Oh, that's pretty cool, eh? Very, very old trumpet shell, or a giant conch. Not what we're looking for though. We'll keep moving. So as I head along this sort of rocky outcrop here, I'm just looking down. The water's nice and clear actually today. Seeing if there's any fish or anything I can basically spear from up top. Mud crabs, stingrays. I'd be really, really keen to gather some food now before it heats up too much, because once it gets hot, man, these rocks are going to be radiating heat. I want to be looking for some shelter then, but let's see how we go. So any of these little rock pools like this up above the tide line, if there's been